Ronald, can you hear me? Let me type that in. Maybe you can't hear. Ronald, can you hear? Oh, there we go. Think you can? He's typing. Yeah, okay, good. All right, good. So I was looking at the deals that you sent me. Remember you sent me some stuff to look at? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to review one of those tonight. Okay, so we'll review one of those deals. Anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them. Like I said, we'll do a 30-minute tonight because we're going to have our full one tomorrow, another meeting tomorrow, 9 o'clock, just to remind everybody, and please let anybody know who that's part of your group about that, and we'll talk then. I know some people are on classes tonight, and that's why they're not available, which is fine. I had a couple of people reach out to me. It's no big deal. We will be moving forward. Tomorrow will be our day. Okay, Wednesdays. All right. So, Ronald, I have two of them up. I have looks like, let me see here. I have looks like an eightplex and to look at. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. We can talk about this deal. Screen. Here we go. There we go. All right. Just double check that everybody can see that okay. Good. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, okay? All right. So, okay. So, Ronald, anything you want to share about this deal so far? Or just jump in whenever you want. I'm just going to keep talking about it. So, the asking price is $475. Repairs, $30,000. Purchase price is $440. Purchase request repairs $470. ARV is $475 with the assumption that it'll be worth $475. The grossly month rent is $5,495 per unit. We're looking at just under $700, $687 is the average. Open that a bit. Brings us in $65,940. We have vacancy maintenance and property management at 27% and expenses 25%. Okay, so first thing we'll just look at real quick is the vacancy and expenses. We have vacancy and expenses. Did you type that in? Is that what happened? Let me just double check here. Did they give you that number, Ronald? Is that what happened? You there, Ronald? Just want to double check. Were these numbers given to you, or you let that 5, 5, and 10 go? You're losing your connection. Okay. I was just verifying that the numbers, if you had gotten them, or you just used the standard 5, 5, and 10 for management, vacancy, and property management. Okay, I'll just keep going, okay? So gross rent multiplier is 7.2, excellent. Cap rate is 6.6, lower than 10, but still workable. So we're going to go over here to financing, okay? It's a 8-unit, so the 8-unit we might see as a residential, a commercial property. So these might have to change here more to 65 and 35, okay? We'll leave that for now, okay? Mortgage, the rent, we could go, let's go 15-year, and let's leave that at 4, okay? We come down here, the monthly payment, we come down here, we see 65 per unit, and cash on cash return, 4.1, Okay, so we have two challenges here, and just want to make sure everybody knows about the expenses. Okay, so which part? Vacancy maintenance and property management and exact expenses. Now this here looks like it is not reading it. That's why I was asking about those numbers. So 5, 5, and 10. Yeah, these are inputted. These are not the actual formula. So I assume that's why I assumed that those numbers were given to you. Is that right, Ronald? If it's just standard, these numbers, yeah, these numbers look like they're inputted directly. Yeah, it should be 20. It looks like they were inputted in. That's why these numbers were inputted in. So it should equal this times this here, which is the gross rent. This, okay. So let me show you what I mean. That's here. Now it reads 20%. 77.3. He gave me those numbers. Okay, so he gave you, so what happens is, okay, so if he gave you those numbers, what we do, let me double check something here. Okay, so what we do is we do the inverse. Okay, so it would be, this is right then, this number is right. So to better understand that, it appears that the vacancy is not 5%. We can do that real easy by just doing this. Well, it doesn't really matter. So he's got vacancy at 8%. Let me just do this. Equals this divided by this. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let's make those percentages. Let's add another. Okay, so we can see that the management is at 10. The maintenance is at 9.1, and the vacancy is at 8. Okay, is that right? So that right there is an area of opportunity, right? If we can better manage the property, we can bring that down a little bit lower. The maintenance, is the building a little bit older? Is that the deal there? Okay. All right. So a couple things here. We can see that the monthly cash flow is 65, and the cash on cash return is 4.1 on this property. Needs a reno. Okay. All right. So with this type of property, because it's an 8-unit building, we're probably in the 65-35 range. Are they open to a VTB, some seller financing? Do you know, Ronald? Because we'd like to see something like this as a vendor financing opportunity. We'd still need to work on the rest of it, because it's not quite enough here to make this work. Okay, so not sure, but the price is negotiable. Well, we can reduce the price. Any questions with anybody so far? So Nina, you're okay now? So the expenses these were inputted. So that's why. So they're really at 8, 9, and 10, which really tells us that there's an opportunity there, we hope, right, to bring these numbers down, these two numbers down. If we can bring these two numbers down. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Good. All right, good. So a couple things with the property. The vacancy maintenance and property management definitely put a dent, because they're these two are taking up another, looks like 6 grand maybe, where we would like to see these lower. So this $6,000, that's about $500. Ronald, did the seller just share those numbers with you when you asked? Yeah, I believe so, correct, Ronald? They gave you those numbers, the vacancy maintenance property management? Okay, did you ask for those, or they just volunteered those numbers? He gave them. Okay, all right. Okay, so, and I don't know exactly, I don't know how much you want to share about location or where it's located. Um, this price, $700 per month for rent. Looks like the water and electricity and all that stuff is covered by you, correct? Location is Sault Ste. Marie. Okay. So this is an inclusive property, or is they're paying some bills? Looks like you're paying the bills. Is that right? Inclusive, yeah. So what does that tell us? Inclusive at 700 is kind of mid, working, probably working class. How's the area? You know the area? Anything about the area? Downtown St. Marie. Okay. Uh, okay. So the property you said though needs to be renovated, correct? Should be that. Yes. Okay. So because I only put 10 there. Okay, so we need to find out if they're open to a VTB and what that rate would be for the VTB. Okay, because we need to get them involved in the purchase. Otherwise, any sort of, if we were at 10 or even the 7 that we had there, it'd be negatively cash flow. Do you see that? The real reason, Ronald, is the expenses. Um, this is not horrible. 25% is not horrible, but this on the other end is a little bit on the high side. That's costing us about $500 a month um, for the loss in this. So these numbers would be okay if this was where we'd want it is around 20%. So obviously we can reduce the purchase price. You got it at purchase price at 440. We could get that. We could attempt to reduce that. I think the area of opportunity is going to be the vacancy, and the second thing is a VTB, getting a vendor financing. Their involvement in vendor financing. If they don't give us a VTB, then it's we gotta lower the price because currently this is not going to make you any money. Do you see that? So that becomes a challenge. Ronald, is it fully occupied right now? It is fully occupied? Sorry, I missed that. Yes, it is fully occupied? Yes. Okay. All right. So it's fully occupied. These renovations, what are they inclusive of? Do you know? Did he tell you the 30,000 renovations? No, just bathrooms and kitchens. Okay. Uh, you came up with 30,000. You came up with 30 grand, or you're just assuming that you're gonna need to fix those things up. Okay. All right. Okay. And this 440, that's something that you talked to him about or her about, or is just a number you came up with? Okay. So so tell them that you're interested, but as you're running these numbers, you're gonna need to know if they're open to a VTV vendor financing, to help you put the numbers together. Okay. So can you ask them that? So vendor financing. Okay. So this is what you want to do, Ronald. Ask for, are they open to vendor financing? Ask them for an income and expense sheet. Did they give you one yet? An income and expense sheet? Just to verify the income and expense, or they already gave you that? Okay. Yes, they already gave you that. Is that what you said? Okay, okay. Just double checking that was their numbers. They came up with their numbers. That's good. Okay, so the vendor financing we got to know about. Okay, and the vacancy numbers that he gave you, the vacancy maintenance and property management, is that for the last year? Is that what he's giving you? Is the last year? That would mean that a few of the oh, it's for the last year. Okay, so if we look at this, just to give you an idea, right? If we had an 8% vacancy rate, okay, so 8% vacancy rate means that the 8% of 8 units basically is, so here, just to explain. So if I had 8 units, and well, let's do this. Let's do this. 12 months equals, so 8% vacancy for the year. We want to know how new, how old the tenants are. Did he tell you that, Ronald? How long the tenants, if there's leases, is it month to month? Did he tell you that? No? Okay, ask him if the tenants are month to month or if they're leases, okay? Okay, it's okay. Ask them if they're month to month or leases, okay? And ask him what is the average tenant, what's the average tenant look like? What's the average tenant look like? You're just trying to get an idea of the attrition or vacancy rate moving forward. 8% is a little bit on the higher end, right? But still, I mean, it could be an area of opportunity. We want to know who's living there. Are they long-term leases or are they month-to-month? My concern is this might be a month-to-month kind of deal, which would be a problem, right? Could be a problem for us. Okay. All right. Now, Ronald, do you have a realtor right now? Not yet. Can't he change it to year if he takes over? Yeah, of course. Of course he can change it. Of course, that's the idea, right? Is to reduce this. But we want to know where it is and why it's at 8%. If they're 8%, that means 1.1 month, 1.2 or one. I'd say 1 month a year, it's empty. I'd like to know. Basically, because if you look at this here, just to give you an idea, okay? So this divided by this, okay? So 12 months. That's so we're looking at apartment empty for more than half the year. Okay, so 6 months there's an empty apartment in these units. Okay, because the rent's only $700. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're losing about $439. So that's roughly, I'd say 6-7 months. There's an apartment empty. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand that? What's the R? Is that yes? Todd, good. Yes. Yes, good. No. Okay. So if I took the vacancy rate from last year, okay, that's how much they lost. 5,275. Okay, that's what they lost in rent. Yes. So I say, okay, 12 months. If I divide that by 12 months, that means there was a loss of $439.60. Okay, right? Okay. So I'm just looking at it, I'm saying, well, what does that mean? Well, if the rent, just 687, okay, just to give you, so 687 was the rent. That was the rent. So equals this divided by this, okay? And that means that that shouldn't be, that means that 7.68 months, this thing was empty. There was an apartment empty for close to, well, almost 8 months, there was an apartment empty. Okay? So an apartment was empty for 8 months. Now, was it an apartment that was empty? Was it several empty? Was there a rollover, rollover on the property? Also, who's managing the property? Do you know if there's a professional property management company taking care of that? No property manager, just the owner. Okay, just the owner. Okay. So the 10% management fee you put in, they didn't give you that number, did they? Or did they give you that number? Yes. Okay. Yes, you put in the number? Yes. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, he's playing it safe. Yeah, that's good. So, Ronald, I want you to spend some time looking up some property management in the area. Let's do St. Marie, okay? I want you to reach out to a property management company and say, I'm interested in this property in this location. Can you give me some details on the cost of managing it and what you know about the area? Okay, it's a great opportunity. You already did that? Not yet. Okay. So I want you to call a property management company, and this is your opportunity now, Ronald, to maybe get some insight to the area, get some insight about the rents in the area. They'll know the area, okay? And if there's any opportunity that the property management company has. Well, it's okay. Let's make the call, right? Let's make the call and see what we can find out, okay? Let's make the call. So, folks, even though I'm just working with a student where we went all the way to submitting an offer on a property, and it was their first real one, and the property sold, but they went through the process, and that process taught them some things, right? So, Ronald, now that you're looking at a property, you have an opportunity, maybe, let's see what we can find out. Start building some relationships. You might find out, Ronald, that this leads you to another property in the area. Do you know what I mean? It might just lead you to another property, another opportunity in the area. It might come from the property manager, might come from a realtor. We don't know. But this is where you have a reason to call these people. And people want to talk to you when there's a reason to talk to you. So instead of just interviewing power team members, if you call them with an actual opportunity that they might benefit from, they're more likely to assist you, help you, and give you some insight on the area that you're looking at. Does everybody understand that? So even though we're not necessarily going to get this property, just take the opportunity, talk to the realtors, ask questions, talk to, you might be looking at a property and say, look, I'm a mortgage broker, I'm looking at this property, I'm looking at financing, what can you do for me? And start developing those relationships based on real deals instead of just calling people up randomly and interviewing them as power team members. This is an opportunity. Does that make sense, Ronald? So before you reach out to the realtor, Ronald, I want to the realtor or the owner, the seller of the property. Now, is it being sold by a realtor or by the owner, the property? Is the property being sold by the owner or a realtor? By the owner. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. So before you send them a communication about more information, Ronald, I want you to reach out to the property manager and see what you can find out, okay? After you get some information about the area and what they think they could rent it for and their costs, then you can reach out to the owner, okay? And ask them some questions based on that new information you have. Because if he tells you, well, we could get, 650 or 600 or 800, whatever is based on that information, you can use that information when you're reaching out to the owner and getting more information. Okay, it just gives you more, ammunition and focus on what you're looking for. Okay, any questions about this property? Because right now, on its own, we'd have to do some work to make this property work. If it's through the owner, couldn't he drop the purchase price further? He could do whatever he wants. That's a good point. It's good that we don't have to deal with another party. Not that there's anything wrong with realtors. Just we're talking directly to the owner. But we want to justify, the information when we're talking to the owner about, if we're looking for a lower price or a change, why that change is necessary. So, rehabs. You can say that, I'm going to have to do a rehab on the property. I'm going to have to, get some attrition so I can raise the rents. Whatever it is that you want to do, really, it's a lot easier talking to the owner and trying to get some movement. And the other thing we want to find out, because we're dealing with the owner, which is great, the VTB question is pretty direct. We don't have to worry about someone, telling him, the realtor saying, no, don't, I'm not going to tell him. And how would we know if there's nothing wrong with the property? In my case, with zero experience. So Nina, we would definitely do that a couple different ways, but obviously the easiest way would be to talk to the seller if there's any issues or challenges with it. And of course, there would be an inspection done, right? We'd inspect the property. But again, we're not going to spend the money on an inspection unless we know there's an opportunity, right? We wouldn't do that. Because that's going to cost a little bit of money to do an inspection. But if the inspection is warranted because the property, based on the numbers makes sense, then it's worth it, right? Even if the inspection goes through and we don't like what we see, we can go back to the seller and say, look, we went through the inspection. This is what I got back. I'm sending you, this to let you know there's a lot of issues. This is what we got to deal with. Let's negotiate with the price. Worst case scenario, yeah, exactly. Worst case scenario, we find out the property is no good for us. Well, it's well worth the inspection. Spend a few $100s to make sure a property is good, than to buy the property later, find out, oh my gosh, what did I do? This is why the numbers are so important to us, right? Does that make sense, Nina? Or repairs once one tenant out, it will help cash flow, all units occupied. If he can wait. Okay. He sent me pics of all the rooms. I don't know how to share it here. No worries, Ronald. You can send that to me. I can share it with the group next week. We can share with the group next week. Right now, I just want you to collect more information, okay? Sorry if all the units are occupied. He can wait for repairs later, helping his cash flow. Yeah, he could do that. If that's something that needs to be done, there's stuff that needs to be done and things that we want to do. So yeah, that we have to address that for sure to see where it lands. Absolutely. Yeah, the tenant profile. I mean, who's renting your place? What do they do for a living? I think that is very, very important. They're long-term. Exactly. These are excellent questions, right? Also, you can use Google Maps to look at the area. But a great thing to do is really call a property manager in the area. They know these areas, right? You want to talk to someone that knows the areas, that deals with it, and they'll let you know who's renting in the area. We do want to know the type of renter that we're dealing with for sure, because that really gives us a good assessment of what we can do. Okay. All right. So Ronald, is that good? Are we good? We have a couple steps more to do. And then what we can do, Ronald, is we can share it with the group next week, right? We can keep updating. This is what we do. Yeah. So you just take a couple steps at a time, right? And then we just go back. Okay, I've done this. This is what I got. What do I do now? And that's how you can move forward, right? Just a few steps at a time. And each time you get smarter and smarter and you get more confident, and a lot of these steps you can go a lot further on your own. And then when you hit, you know, an area that you're not so sure about or you don't understand, that's where you reach out and get some help. You're joining the other group next week. That's right. And actually, Audrey, if you're up for it, having a meeting tomorrow with that group. Tomorrow, and I think I'm going to have a guest tomorrow. So you're more than welcome to come. It's at 9 o'clock. Same link. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to have my lawyer on there to talk about you know, corporate structures and contracts and stuff. And you can ask him anything. Yeah. Okay. So let anybody know, Audrey, if you know anybody that doesn't know, or remind them that we're having our meeting, and you're more than welcome to come to the one tomorrow. Okay. Okay, good. All right, any other questions before we wrap up? No, we're good? Oh, no worries. That's exactly how we do it, okay? That's why I don't mind you. I like when you send me deals. I can review them with the group, and we can talk about, you know, moving them forward, and that's what I want to do. You know, keep moving forward. Really, that's the best thing, right? So you know, we're learning, right? Even if this deal doesn't go through for Ronald, he's going to start building relationships. He's going to start better understanding the areas that he's looking at. So making a phone call or two is well worth it, you know, and understanding. And it's great to have something in hand to talk about. What time's the next meeting next week with the other group, or Wednesday? So it's moving forward, everybody. Wednesday at 9 p.m. is the meeting now moving forward for this group, okay? Wednesday, 9 p.m. Moving forward, okay? All right, everybody's good with that? Good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the meeting. We're just going to have a little shorter one. It's been 35 minutes, but because we're going to have a meeting again tomorrow with you, okay? So tomorrow, I will see you all, hopefully, if you can make it 9 o'clock. Otherwise, it'll be recorded. This meeting will be recorded also and posted in the next couple days, okay? All right. If you're good, type in yes or Y. My pleasure, folks. My pleasure. I want to keep moving you forward, okay? You just keep moving. And I promise things will happen, okay? Everybody have a great night, great week, and I'll see you all tomorrow.